Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Shooting. I am Tonya Rodgers here, of course, with Andrew M. Swift. And we are going to get into the week of WWE television. And of course, we have the Royal Rumble this Sunday. But there's a topic that I feel like we should address because we are primarily cage side seaters. So we both write for this site, and Andrew, sometimes you and I will both, you more so than me, because I have a lot of love for writing. You write columns independent of the SmackDown review sometimes. So, of course, Friday was the inauguration of the 45th president of these United States. Now, I'm going to call him the 45th president because I don't think he deserves his name said on my show. So everybody hearing me say that, you know exactly how I feel about the 45th president. But your article was more talking about how if Triple H and Stephanie, who were there at the inauguration, there was a picture of them, they sent out some little harmless tweet congratulating the president or something. I didn't catch the tweet, but they did tweet about the inauguration. Your whole point was, if they could do that, why didn't they make a tweet about the Women's March, which was the next day, and it was a pretty big fucking deal. Like you had to be under a rock to ignore what happened that Saturday. So, just go ahead and give a brief, description of like the point you were trying to get across.
Yeah, I mean, I pointed out in the article that they're between a rock and a hard place. There's no doubt about that. Like with Linda being nominated to serve in the administration, which we could go into, but we won't because it's not on topic here, and we're trying to stay to the stuff that's actually just specifically related to the wrestling. But if your whole gimmick for like the last 2 years is, we're so progressive, we're pushing women, look at us treat women better. Like that's pretty much been their whole thing, their whole campaign. And then if you can even if it's a harmless anodyne, transfer of power, peaceful transfer of power message, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. But for the man that they were doing it for, and then to not acknowledge 4.5, 5 million Americans on the street specifically marching for gender equality and women's rights, I think it kind of points you out to be a hypocrite. And I mean, yeah, they're in a difficult spot. I'll grant them that. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, just because it might be a difficult spot for them, and even if they were never gonna send anything, they should still be reminded that, hey, you're trying to present yourselves as something, you need to actually be that something, or people will start calling you out on this shit. So it's not like, I wasn't asking for a retroactive anything whatsoever. I just thought it was very, very telling. And I don't know this to be true, but they were back on Tuesday for Linda's hearing before the Senate committee. And so they were in DC on Friday and on Tuesday. So I don't know, maybe they stayed the weekend. I have no idea. And if they were actually in town, that makes it even more absurd. But it's totally possible, obviously, that they went back up to New York and then came back down. It's just disappointing to me because I would like to expect better. I don't always expect better. I still know this is WWE, and I don't really care. I saw some people saying that I was just mad that they attended the inauguration. I don't care at all. I know they're Republicans. Like, there's nothing new about that whatsoever. That the McMahons are a long-standing Republican family, and pro wrestling as a whole is the workers are, especially like the more higher up you go, with the notable exception of John Cena, who is woke as fuck somehow. It's a pretty conservative industry. So it's just people need to be reminded of what they're presenting themselves as. And if they're not living up to that thing, then, you need to kind of fire a warning shot sometimes. And that's what I felt that was. And it was interesting because I'm going to give you all a little insight into the writing process. I actually wrote that headline. That wasn't a headline from the editors, from Gino or Sean. I specifically wrote that headline. And I wrote it with the intention, obviously, to inflame, because this is the internet. And you know what? If I had written some really blasé headline of like, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H's presence at the inauguration raises questions, it's like, no, that's not how you get the traffic that article did, when it did pretty well. Pretty well. So yeah, the use of the word fraud was definitely like lighting a match and kind of throwing it into like an oil spill sort of thing. But I thought the words I used were in fact eminently reasonable and very sober and fair-minded. I mean, like, I spent half of the article praising them for their efforts, but if you're never pushing people, if you're never pushing the folks in power to be better or to live up to what they espouse as their ideals, then they have no reason to actually do that. So that's my hope. Like, I have no idea or not if they read it. I don't really care either way. But I just would like to expect better out of the both of them, because I truly do think both of their hearts are in the right place. I just think it was a telling lack of understanding of the optics, and Stephanie is usually a lot better on that sort of thing. So it just surprised me. It caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, now Fizzy telling me my microphone messing up. So
yeah, it's fine now.
Okay. So here's where I am on that. Like, I'm not surprised they didn't mention it or anything. And I'm also employees. Well, not their employees. The people who are independently contracted to them. We're making tweets and stuff about it. So I think at the very least they're okay with that. I'm surprised as many like superstars tweeted about the Women's March that did, so
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the one funny thing that I got out of that whole bit on Sunday or Saturday was Seth Rollins turned face for me.
Yes.
All right. I was like, well, I'm a Seth Rollins fan again, so that worked.
Now see, I've already admitted, like, when he comes to Jackson, Mississippi, he is hype. He loves to perform for us. So seeing him live in my home state, I'm like, I can clown him all I want to. I'm still gonna be his fan. But for him to be like, Black Lives Matter and now this with the Women's March, I'm like, okay, Steph, you all right. But the whole thing, here's the question: should you mix wrestling and politics, because there was a lot of comments that were like, I don't want to come on my wrestling website to see this. And here's my answer, my opinion. Too bad. It's too bad. Like, WWE is a big corporation, and they are, especially now, heavily tied to the 45th president of the United States. So there's going to be plenty of articles linking them and making discussions about them in politics. You can't have that high of a profile with anything. Like, there's no big sport or anything that's never going to bring up politics. You hear about it in the NFL, even the UFC with Dana White. You hear they're going to mention politics. So you just got to get used to it. Or don't click on the article. There are plenty of articles that I'm not interested in, and I just scroll right on past them. I'll tell you one that I saw recently. Let's say nice things about David Otunga. Scrolled right past it. Not interested at all. At all. So, you have anything else to say? Let's just get into it.
We can get into it. Your mic was acting up again just a little bit there.
Yeah, because I need to buy a new one. So I'm trying to stay perfectly. Anything up. Okay, so the Royal Rumble is this Sunday, and both shows had their go-home shows. Now, I know, like, it was 2 weeks ago, I was so fed up. I was like, I'm not going to watch Raw anymore. But, yeah, you know, sometimes people go back on their word. So I watched Raw. So I watched Raw, and I was very entertained. It was one of the best shows they've had in a long while, I'll say. Okay. So, what do you think? Because the big deal they made was like the end of the show was all the 3 part-timers. And I know you don't. Particular, I think you were enjoying Raw before that point, based on your comments. And then you saw that, you were like, fuck this shit. I hate this. Like, down with the part-timers. And I kind of liked it because, like, they're all going to be in the Royal Rumble, and they might interact. And plus, like, 2 of them are too old to be brawling. Like, Lord knows. Like, Goldberg can cuss himself, apparently. Or almost did.
Oh, my God.
I had to get your thoughts on that, because that was, like, the thing that stood out from Raw the most.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I wasn't like huge on Raw. I was being a little cranky, but you know, sometimes I'm just a little cranky, and then it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying something until like that part-timer gimmick. And then like you said, I was so over that. I will say that it's not just, for me, it's not just a part-time gimmick thing. It's that I actively dislike all 3 of those part-timers. Like, I've never liked The Undertaker. I think it's because he beat Bret Hart for the championship in like 1992 or some shit, and I've always fucking hated his ass since then. That's a shoot. I swear to God. I'm still holding some grudge from like 25 years ago for beating Bret Hart.
That was 97.
97?
Shawn Michaels was the referee. No, Bret actually beat The Undertaker for it. I don't think Taker ever beat
Did he never beat him? See, I just assumed that was it, so I don't even remember what it is now. So, yeah, I've never liked Undertaker. Like, never actively liked him. I don't get him. I don't think he's impressive. I don't think his gimmick is interesting. I think it's corny as all hell. I think it's something out of the 1980s that's somehow still being run
Wait a
in
minute.
2017. And
Hold on. Wait. How did I get this long knowing you? And knowing that you've, like, I thought it was just because he's old now. You've never liked
I've
him?
never liked The
Oh,
Undertaker.
wow.
I
Okay.
have always disliked him. Like he just never clicked for me. He was never, I don't know. He was just never one of my guys. Goldberg was like, but by the time he started getting big and like his whole streak, that was towards the end of my like interest in WCW. That was like 1998, and I was kind of falling out. I was falling out of with wrestling in general by that time, but especially WCW. So like I don't really care, and like I'm not impressed by him like at all. Like his whole thing was in the 90s was booking and presentation. So I don't understand why like we should be excited to see this guy now just because he's come back. I don't know. That doesn't do it for me. And Brock, I'm over Brock. Like I don't care. We've talked about Brock on this show plenty of times. Like he doesn't give a fuck, you know? So and I feel like it makes me even more annoyed that the only time Brock actually gives a fuck is when he's trying to act scared by The Undertaker, because that just pisses me off too, because I don't like Undertaker. I'm just like, this is bullshit. So all of that is just working into like a perfect storm of me hating that go home segment at the end of Raw. Although I will say, like, it probably shouldn't be funny and probably shouldn't have been laughing at it, but like Goldberg busting himself open and being unable to remember his promo for 3 times. I was in stitches at that.
I don't know why that shouldn't be funny, because this wasn't like somebody performing and he dropped himself on the head. He does this like, because at first I wasn't paying attention because I did the music.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing since 1998 when I hit Goldberg music is perfectly zone out.
Yeah.
So that like whatever's happening, like I'm aware that it's happening, but I'm not really paying attention. So I heard him talking. And then when he fucked up the first time, that's when I looked up. Because I didn't see his interest or any of that. So I looked up and I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Why is he bleeding? Wait a minute, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, somebody done worked themselves into a shoot again. Yeah. That's what he wants to be. Legitimate, real championship athlete so bad. This is why I don't like him. Because when he was only in the business for like 6 months, and he was one of the worst politicians in WCW. It was like, if people paint, it was all Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan. It's a reason why Goldberg Street ended the way it did. But Kevin Nash is never really going to write a real book because he does a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
So he's like, I just keep that one to myself. Bill can keep burying me. But he got popular. He did. He got hot, and he quickly fizzled. All style and no substance.
Mm-hmm.
And if he stays, the longer he stays in the WWE, it's gonna be that. But see, there's nobody to politic and get him out the way now. So it ain't no telling what's gonna happen with him in the Royal Rumble. But they're gonna make him look like a god, and it's gonna guarantee I might be upset. He gonna geek somebody out that I like in the Rumble.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna be so cranky. So cranky.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real cranky. Eliminated if he gets eliminated, because they might have him win. Yeah, that whole thing to me was like, I think they should have did that to start the show, because but these guys, they feel like they're trying to prop up their third hour so much.
Yeah.
So they put them in to close the show. But I would have started the show off like that. It would have been much better than what eventually led to a fun United States Championship match. Now I like because I still like Chris Jericho, even though I recognize like he ain't as good as he used. He's really not as good as he used to be in the ring. I still like him, so I don't mind him, Jericho and Roman working together, especially since like that's the only person that seems to get something decent out of Jericho, and Jericho still fucking botched in the match, and I just shook my head. I was just like, you know what? It's okay, because he tried. He tried his best. That's okay, Jericho. But that whole thing was funny to me about, like, somebody, it brought it to my life. They're just doing this shark cage to sell those little toy cages got now to go with the ring. And I was like, that makes perfect sense, because Jericho could be banned from ringside, or they could have any other gimmick, but they're going to put him in a cage right when this is happening. So, like, the whole thing where, like, I mean, what's the point of, like, I get what you were saying about it. What would have been Kevin Owens' point to grant the United States title match? But he knew he was going to interfere just to lure Roman into a trap to lock him in the cage. And then what?
And what happens then?
Like, I get why, like, Roman turning it on him and, like, embarrassing him.
Right.
You know, Kevin Owens got pride, but, like, you beat up Roman Reigns and put him in the cage, and then he just, hey, now that's a sexy pinata, by the way. Roman Reigns had a win over you, most definitely, but I thought that was just, like, something fun for, like, the kids and stuff, and I was okay with that for the most part, but I would be so, Lord, I don't care, win, lose, or draw, no matter what, those two have to get away from each other. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, please, end that.
Well, the only way to end it is if Owens wins. Because otherwise they'll do the rematch clause gimmick.
Oh, God. Well, you know what? Because I listen to every Roman Reigns interview religiously.
Mm-hmm.
He did one yesterday, I think, on Cheap Heat. And the way he was talking,
I saw the write up on this on Cage Side.
I listened to it 3 times already. He kind of talking like it might be over at Royal Rumble. So no matter what, it's probably over. Hopefully it is, but it's like, see, I liked Raw, but I can't remember a goddamn thing that happened on the show.
Right.
Isn't that funny?
Right.
Oh, you know what I did want to talk about? Bailey's sit down interview. They are. It's not the same script verbatim, but they are giving her the same type of language that they were giving Roman Reigns Road to WrestleMania in 2015. And that's it's like the thing that got me. She was like, when I come out and all the Bailey buddies come out, I was like, what the fuck is, like, no. See, I noticed things. You're not just gonna slip that in with me, WWE. You need to stop this promo right now and explain to me what the fuck a Bailey buddy is. I've been watching Bailey for years now. This phrase. What is it, Andrew? What is a Bailey buddy?
That's the first time it's literally been uttered on WWE.
So you don't know what it is. Is that supposed to be those two men, or is it supposed to be her fans? Because I was trying to understand the context.
I think it's supposed to be like her fans, right? That's how I interpreted it as.
But I'm a fan of Bailey, and I will never be a fucking Bailey buddy. You hear me?
I'm the same way. I'll tell you.
Oh, no. They are fucking her up. Like, if they continue this, and this is somebody who doesn't even really, like, I'm not all into the character. I'm a hugger, but, like, she's such an incredible performer. And I think what it is that Bailey's a way more nuanced character than they give her credit for, and they're just trying to put a woman child up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It might work. I'm not gonna say it's not working for me, but you know, I had got to a point with her that like, yes, I love Bailey. I want to see her, and like she still gives it to me with the performance. It's just like the character work is like, when, like, why the fuck is she wearing a backpack and passing out Bailey bears?
Mm-hmm.
She's so past this shit in NXT by now. You know what I'm saying? The naive, and like they're
Yeah.
trying to make her naive again. But the BFFs got rid of that. They did. So like it's a different way she could approach Charlotte than the approach they have. And they do not have the people to write that.
Yeah. What I think is interesting is that they totally like hit the right line 2 weeks ago during the backstage bit with Steph. The just Bailey stuff was spot on. Like that was absolutely like what you want to do. And like they were kind of trying to do that with like the Charlotte promo, like reading the poems and whatever. Like, oh, you're just an average fan, but just the execution was all off. And like the idea, they just. So like I can kind of see the notes they're trying to hit. They're just, man, they're hitting the notes on the other side of the keyboard.
Yeah.
Like it's a character that requires some subtlety. Like it can be overt and like has to be to some degree, but there needs to be some layer of subtlety underneath it, and that has not been present at all since she's been called up. And that's frustrating for me to see because she is really someone who can bring like crowds to life, and that's not been at all the case on the main roster. And partially it's presentation, and partially it's just the material they're giving her is not material that will really benefit her character. So once again, it's WWE being like close to something, but the fact that they're close, like closeness only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It's just kind of frustrating because it's like, I mean, you guys are almost there, but then you're really not also. So.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I really don't care about the women's title match. I care about Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax.
Yeah.
And oh my God, there with the crutch and going ape shit on Nia, and then doing the double knees to the outside. I was like, yes. Like if they give them time, I don't care if it's on the pre-show or not. If they give them time, that's going to be a great ass match. Because like Nia has shown that even though she's limited, she's very much capable of listening to the person in the ring that's calling the match. And Sasha has shown that she understands psychology, especially that bigger wrestler psychology versus a smaller wrestler. So, the possibility of that match. That's the one match. Please just don't disappoint me. The rest of the pay-per-view, the Rumble match itself can disappoint me. If Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax is good, I'm just gonna be sitting here with the biggest smile on my face. Like,
I am absolutely the exact same way. Like that match is gonna feel like make or break my night. Like it's either gonna be
the pre-show.
It's on the pre-show, so like the show won't even have started, and I'll be like, "Fuck this shit!" Like I'll be angry, and it'll just be. I don't want that. Just give me something good. Although, I mean, I am worried. Like, I always get worried for a Sasha Banks pay-per-view match because, like, there's investment there. So, you know, I want to see it get over really big. But she's never worked Nia before, so I don't know, man. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm legitimately scared. But I don't know. If there's anything I learned is, like, don't doubt big match Sasha. But, like, is this match big enough? You know. I don't know.
It might be to her, because she's like, she went from, like, what, main eventing a few months ago, now she's on the fucking pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
You kidding me? Sasha Banks, I'm gonna show him I should have been. Yeah. And then Bailey's back there. Bailey's worked with Nia a million times. I'm sure she's all up in that match.
Yep.
So, I'm optimistic. Let's get to SmackDown. Unless there's nothing else on Raw.
I honestly don't even remember what else happened on Raw.
If we remember something, we'll bring it up. Let's get to SmackDown. And the big thing I want to talk about on this one is I don't like these promos John Cena keep cutting on AJ Styles. I do not like them. And, like, you cannot say that he's a heel, you're not. No, he's the face. So I'm supposed to like him. I don't like these promos. Like, you weren't built for the indies. That's great. That's wonderful. But, like, knowing what I know, Johnny Boy, you have way more chances to get looked at by the WWE just because you're, what, 6'5" and jacked to the fucking gills. They're going to want to look at you anyway. If you fuck up, you're awarded way more opportunities to fuck up and get to know yourself and to get over. There's somebody who's a teeny tiny like AJ Styles and just happen to be the best fucking wrestler in the world. So, like, people are like, it's good if he loses. Like, it's not to me. Like, I don't like him talking all this smack about somebody that I've when John Cena started to get his little climb in WWE, I just wasn't interested. I stopped watching WWE. It wasn't because of him, but he wasn't making me watch. You know what I'm saying? And I turned on this little rinky-dink promotion called TNA, and guess who got me watching every week? AJ Styles did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of us AJ Styles fans that knew him before WWE, and I feel like a lot of us are like, this promo is a bunch of bullshit. Because all of us who saw AJ Styles in TNA, the one thing we thought was, goddamn, he needs to be in WWE. Like, yeah, maybe he wouldn't have been the main event right off top. And his mic skills one of the best back then. But he most definitely should have been in this company. The former have only improved. Like, when he first started getting TV time, he was WWE ready. But, of course, Jim Ross was hiring people then. Mm-hmm. And we all know who he like. Athletic, used to play football, bodybuilders, people like John Cena. Then after him, it was John Laurinaitis. The goddamn wrestler who used to be a bodybuilder started signing talent, and who he started signing? Guys like AJ Styles. That's the biggest fucking irony in the world. So no, I don't like. Both times he's had this, he ethered AJ Styles. And AJ Styles didn't have a chance to clap back. AJ Styles is a champion. And like, if John, like, see, this is me sitting in the writing room when they have this second promo. I'm like, no, I'm the goddamn champion. And on John Cena word, and then I get to say something on Talking Smack, which less people are going to watch. It's all about presentation. I understand AJ Styles is supposed to win, and even if he does win, what are his who are we hearing are his plans for WrestleMania? And if it does happen, like that pisses me off too. So
Yeah.
it's like I am happy. I have not really been that mad at WWE because AJ Styles has been the champion and he's been doing a great job of it. But like certain things they do with him, like with that Ellsworth stuff, I was just like, wouldn't have never did that to Cena. They definitely would have never booked him like that. But he's a heel. I get it. I get it. But they don't want to. That's another conundrum about AJ Styles. Nobody want, no matter how much of a dick he is, nobody wants to boo him. What do you do with that?
You just go with it. Like, I don't. He's so much better as a heel, and he works off people so much better as a heel, and people work on him better as a heel. Then you just have to accept the crowd reaction as it is my idea. Like, if you're telling the story you want to tell and it's a good story, you know, and like the crowd is invested in it, then I say go with it. It's different if they're like rejecting the whole thing. If they're giving the opposite reaction and like rejecting it, like poor little Romy, you know, because the crowd is rejecting him because they don't like his alignment. But that's like actively hurting the programs. And I don't think you can say that's the case for any of Styles' programs. I don't think you can say that's the case for the.
I can't. Oh, you can't say that's the case. When Dean Ambrose got less over, the more he fought AJ, that they had in the chitless wonder. Come on now, the whole Ellsworth thing was to like, please stop booing Dean Ambrose. Please don't do it. That's what that whole thing was. Like, we don't have many baby faces.
I don't know if they were booing him. If
He
more
got-
just cheering him less. He got booed against John Cena in Philly. I know. There was that one very notable time.
Thank you. And when he faced AJ Styles for the championship for the first time, he was getting booed on his comeback. He was getting booed. That is a problem. He was doing fine before then. He was alright. People were, oh yeah, we're cheering his thing, but his matches were boring as fuck. Then he got with AJ, and people were like, nah, we just like AJ more. And and what I say to that is, don't put him against faces that the crowd likes less than him.
But they don't have any that the crowd likes more than him though. At least not on SmackDown.
Well, you can't have that character as he is as a face. There's just no way to do it.
No, it's not possible. Yeah. He's such an unrepentant dickhead that it doesn't work at all. And I really like what they did incorporating the Rumble poster for one. That was amazing because during that promo when he's like, something's been gnawing at me, I gotta bring it up or whatever, and like it clicked for me like early. I was like, is he gonna bring up the poster? And then he did, and I was like, oh my god, I was losing my shit. I was like all caps Andrew last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, right.
You think they did that?
Man, I don't know if that was hindsight or like if that was deliberate, like well done. And if it's in hindsight, like well done for using what's available to you and to like make a real consistent and real strong story note there, because that really enhanced his character. And then the whole Today Show bit as well, like, oh, this guy from Atlanta, like that was really good. So I mean, I really do think, like, I haven't been around for much of Cena's tenure, so like here's my impression. Correct me if I'm wrong. My impression is that like Cena will have feuds with guys, and they'll go like back and forth. Granted, this one hasn't been back and forth, but we'll get to that. But go back and forth, and it's like, okay, the final match is the other guy's going to go over because Cena cuts this promo like just undercutting them entirely, and then Cena still wins. So like I have a legitimate fear that that's the case here because that would annoy the hell out of me. And I think Cena himself knows that the right call is for him to lose, in some fashion. I don't care if it's like a cheating loss or anything. Like, just I don't think he should be winning this match by any means. So I'm looking forward to that match, and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. But I can imagine a moment where it's like he hits like a second Super AA and he's going for the pinfall, and like there's just a sinking realization inside, like, oh, right.
It's Cena.
Yeah. Like why would I have believed anything otherwise? It's like the crowd. We're all kind of working ourselves into a shoot here, like, oh, Styles has to go over, but it's like, oh, it's still John Cena though.
Right.
But that plays against the story they've told, which, like I wrote in my recap, is that Cena Styles actually has Cena's number. He's pinned him 3 straight times, and that's literally unheard of in WWE history.
But none of that matters because AJ Styles has only been on top for 6 months.
You've been hot for 6 months, dude.
Which he has been hotter for way longer than 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. If he was only hot for 6 months, why was he the Observer Wrestler of the Year the year before? But I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to that match, and boy, I'll tell you, I'm really nervous about it too, because they have such really awesome room to go with here. If Cena loses again, and he's just like, because that's what they've been saying. Like, everyone else is evolving, and Cena's like, this new era is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I'm John Cena. So, like, he's bringing that arrogance, but that should be the time that gets undercut, so that he has, like, a moment where he's like, oh, shit, I need to, like, adapt. I need to, like,
John Cena's character has never learned
I know.
lesson.
I know. That's what's scary.
People still turn on him because he always trusts people, and next thing you know, they jumping on him to get John Cena's character. He never gives up, and he never learns a fucking lesson because he doesn't have to. As someone very smart and wise said, when you're winning and you're kicking ass, it's kind of hard to be angry.
I had no idea who said that, but I'm going to assume that was Roman.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what the will you turn heel question.
Oh, yeah.
Which I still say the best politicker in the world because I have a feeling why he's not doing it. But let's go on to the women's stuff.
Okay.
Then we'll get to the Wyatts. Okay, the women were all over the show. It felt like an episode of NXT, really, because the old NXT that had like a whole bunch of women with some men sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Mickey James comes out, and she's the 4 horsewomen are undercutting what she's done in the business and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, WWE did that. But, like, she's a heel. Like, I get it. I think it's a great argument, a great delusional argument to have. Yes. But it seems like anytime you base an argument off of some sort of truth, people are starting to, well, she does have a point. She would have a point if she were going after Stephanie, pretty much, or people who've been running the show or were running the show back when she was in her prime. She would have a point. And then and only then. And I've seen some people like, well, if she was going after Sasha, no, she still doesn't have a point. She still doesn't. Because where is Sasha Banks' line about how the women were treated? Oh, so we just gonna go back and say they weren't? So y'all done forgot Piggy James, huh? I rest my damn case on that. Sasha wanted to make history, so she won't have Hell in a Cell matches, Fall Count Anywhere matches, and the company let her. How is that? Because everybody, they do mention women from her era. They mentioned 2 of them in the Hall of Fame, Lita and Trish. But of course, they can't go down the whole Rolodex of all the women who were. Everybody know it wasn't just Lita and Trish wrestling, but the fact that you think you've been slighted by these new women, that's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And she's just using Alexa Bliss to get her foot back on the door. She let it slip on Talking Smack. She never wanted to lead a company. This is just a grab for attention. She got her eyes all over that SmackDown Women's Championship. That's just this is a sideways way of getting to it. Mickie James is a smart cookie. And now she using the hell out of Alexa Bliss. And
Yep.
I don't know what to think about Alexa and Naomi yet. I'm just gonna let it marinate. Cause I like people are like, well, the match is gonna be terrible. And I'm like, yeah, but that ain't cause of Naomi. Honey Girl had a couple of blotches a little while ago, and people act like she the worst female wrestler ever. She is not. If Alexa were a little bit better, the matches wouldn't be that bad. She wouldn't. When she slows down and stops trying to do stuff that she really can't do, no, Naomi is all right. She's competent. She's serviceable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying put the belt on her, but yeah, shit, give her some storyline, give her some shine. Let her go out there and let everybody feel the glow. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now they bringing Naomi back. See, this is if they throwing her in the mix. I wonder, that kind of confuses things for WrestleMania because, we all know Nikki Bella is going to be in the SmackDown Women's match, but she should be because her story arc is leading there.
Yeah.
She just gotta shake all these haters off, and then ever since she came back from her neck injury, all these haters coming at her sideways. She ain't even have a chance to think about the title. So once she finally slap Natty around or whatever, she'll be in the match. Now, this is what gets me. In the whole Mickie James, Alexa stuff, to me, Becky is the most important person. But some people feel like Becky's getting ignored, she's slighted because she's not winning the championship. But this is Becky Lynch's story. I don't know who else's story it could be. She had to deal with this little conniving little blonde girl who stole her championship from her. And now she brought some old crazy woman back. I think Becky and Nikki definitely going to be in a WrestleMania match. And either or after WrestleMania, one of them will be the SmackDown Women's Champion. I just don't know how the story's going, how they exactly get there. But it's interesting. I really like it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I love the point that you made that Mickie is using Alexa. As soon as Mickie James started talking in her promo, I was like, yes. I was like, this is the perfect fit for this story and this moment and this division. It clicked for me immediately. Just her intensity and a little bit off her rocker, but in a really clever way, she's totally using Alexa, as you said, because she's putting the idea in Alexa's head, oh, you were the one standing up against the horsewomen, whatever. You were the one doing that. And if you go back to Alexa's early appearances on Talking Smack, the line that was used when Brian was like kind of, you know, poking at her was like, does it offend you that you're not included in the, he said the pillars of at the NXT women's division, which is some all Japan shit because Daniel Bryan's hilarious. But like basically he's like, are you upset that and offended that they don't like include you in that horsewomen class? And she's like, yes, it is offensive. So that like comes back into play now, where it's like Alexa can be easily buttered up to believe that she's like fighting the good fight, but Mickey's like kind of playing her strings the whole time from behind. And I really don't know. I really don't know what the title match is going to be for them. Like, I still think Fatal 4-Way makes the most sense for them with the four we've been talking about, including Nikki. And then like the two singles matches on for Raw, but I don't know if they're going to run like Sasha Steph. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think it makes a lot of sense to. God, I don't know. Like it's exciting. This is the first like road to WrestleMania season or whatever that like everything feels up in the air, you know. And it's like I don't like things could go in a lot of different directions, and I have no idea at this moment in time. Like I can make estimated guesses in a bunch of different ways, but I'm not confident in any of them, you know.
That is definitely true.
And that's a big difference from the last couple of years, and it helps quite a bit, like no doubt.
So let's get into the best angle of the week for me, which was the Wyatts. Randy Orton and Luke Harper faced off to start SmackDown Live, and surprise, surprise, it was a good match. Because Randy Orton, he's so used to his formula, but Luke Harper is a wrestler who's like, you can tell his spots. He thinks outside the box in putting together his matches. So they had a really good, like, knockdown, drag out, little, he's throwing haymakers back and forth. And it was really like, it kind of whet my appetite because I want to see him on pay-per-view go a little bit longer. Maybe they'll both be in the Elimination Chamber. Who knows? But Bray Wyatt, during one point of the match, and he was great during the whole match. He's like facials and him like kind of giving a poker face, like I'm not rooting for anybody. I just want to see who's going to win. He threw them both back into the ring, and you know, the finish was this awesome discus clothesline into an RKO. And Randy Orton won. Then after the match, I think Bray Wyatt pretty much told Luke Harper to kick rocks because he gave him the Sister Abigail and left with Randy Orton. So I still think Randy is just his plans are coming together beautifully, and he's on to the next phase because he has successfully separated Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. And he's gotten Bray Wyatt to trust him completely. Like, he turned his back on Luke Harper. Like, no matter, even if Luke is back with him, that's because Luke has, like, went back begging and licked his wounds or whatever. Cause this. It is just beautiful. I love it. This is, like, the most engaged I've ever been in a Randy Orton story. It's amazing.
Yeah, I never would have expected this angle to go like this long, and for me to be more into it week on week. But that's what they've accomplished. So big credit to them, especially considering I didn't care about anybody in this angle going into it. I was just like, whatever. You know, this is not interesting at all. But they've gotten to a place where some really good stuff is happening, and really, really excited to see where it goes going forward. And I feel like they can still work another like 3-4 months out of it. This can go through Mania and beyond if they play their cards right. Like, so we'll find out, but I think this has got a lot of potential to be on, like, low key. It's kind of hurt by the fact that it will straddle 2 years, but like in a calendar year, if you went from like last August to this upcoming August, this would have like, you know, some serious contention for like feud of the calendar year, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's been like, it's just been so good. I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you're right. I actually want them to draw this one out. Like, usually with certain things, you're like, I wish they would just go on and get to it. But no, not with this. Just let it simmer.
Mm-hmm.
Just put it in the slow cooker and let it simmer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything you want to really talk about before we get into the Rumble pay-per-view and do our predictions?
A couple last notes on the Wyatt program. I loved Bray's like dead-on stare, not looking at anyone or anything. You know, like that was great because Luke like looked at him and was like, what's going on? And like Bray was just staring dead ahead, like not looking at it, either of them. And it was great because like a minute or two after that, they were like out on the outside again, and the camera cut to Bray, and he was like peeking out of the corner of his eye at the two of them, like when neither of them was looking. So I was just like, oh, that's a really good like camera like cut to get right there. Like that little bit of Bray, like, you know, he was trying to act like he was uninterested, but clearly he was interested. He just didn't want to, you know, he wanted to let it go to see what would happen. And I also think that Bray, like, this is my impression of his character, how he responded during that match, is that he knew Orton was going to win. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just really digging that. And like, I honestly felt like when he pulled him up and he like had him in the half embrace, I'm like, you motherfucker, because I knew, I saw it. I was like, you don't do it. And he did it. And I was just like, crestfallen for like a good minute. I was just like, I'm bummed right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Right? Poor
Luke Harper.
Okay. So we just run through some of the matches. Of course, the Cruiserweight Championship is on the line. Which one, the champion, takes on the King of the Cruiserweights, Neville? Who do you think is going to win that match?
Neville.
So do I. Nia Jax or Sasha?
God, I sure fucking hope it's Sasha. I'm gonna be the crankiest fucker in the world if Nia goes over.
I'm gonna go with Sasha, and I hope it is her. Let's stay with the women. The Raw Women's Championship is on the line with Charlotte versus Bayley. I have Charlotte.
I also have Charlotte, and not only do I have Charlotte, but I will definitely be putting money on her. And I will say this. I will say this to all our listeners. If Charlotte does indeed win, I have a special surprise next Wednesday, so you'll wanna tune in for that.
Did they say Sheamus has already had a match with the club? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're having that match, and there are 2 referees is the gimmick.
Yeah, okay. I'm still going with Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, I am too, but 2 referee gimmick is the worst stipulation of all time.
I don't know, it could have potential, but I don't know. They have a 6-women tag team match. SmackDown Women's Champion Alexa Bliss with Mickie James and Natalya versus Nikki Bella, Naomi, and Becky Lynch. I think the faces are going to win.
I think the faces are going to win. I think Naomi's going to pin Alexa, and they're going to start a little interim title feud based on that.
Okay. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
The good stuff.
WWE Championship. AJ Styles defends against John. I'm actually going to go with John Cena. Just so I can be wrong if he loses.
It's really bumming me out that you picked that, because I was going to do that and be like, yeah, I'm going with John Cena. I'm stealing myself, folks. Like, I think AJ's going to win, but, like, I also am certain he's not going to win, you know? Like, because it's John Cena, but, man, I'll stick with my gut and say AJ just because it'll make me feel better when he loses. The fact that I get to be like, WWE is so fucking stupid. Like, I'll be able to double down. I'll be able to double down on that. So that's what I'm gonna pick, AJ.
Okay. Universal Championship. Kevin Owens defends against Roman Reigns. And I'm gonna go for Roman Reigns just because pretty much he's been doing press Royal Rumble week. And I haven't seen Kevin Owens do anything yet. That's really what I'm basing it off of.
Okay. I'm actually going with Kevin Owens.
Okay.
Because my impression of where things are going for Roman at Mania is not a championship defense. So we will. Although now that I think about it, it could be, and it could be in like the worst possible way. So. Oh, but I'm gonna go with KO here. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what the hell's gonna get done, but they'll probably somehow get Jericho out of the cage or something. It's gonna be ridiculous. But
yeah.
I'm sticking with Owens.
Okay. Now let's get
the big prediction. Yeah.
Royal Rumble match. Okay. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to pick who do you think is going to be number 1, who you think might be number 30. Who eliminates the most people? Who gets eliminated the fastest, and who is the Iron Man? Okay, so my number 1, I think they're going to go with probably say that, but then like he's already started 2 years already. But I would think they're going to start with the Miz in the Rumble. And I think number 30 is going to be one of those old farts. So either it's going to be Undertaker or Goldberg. And I think the person who's going to get eliminated the fastest is Titus O'Neil. Or if Simon Gotch is in the Royal Rumble, they're going to try. They're going to try to be 1 second. I don't know how, but they are going to try to beat it with Simon Gotch. I think. I do. I think the Iron Man of the match is going to be Sami Zayn.
Oh.
And let me see.
Most eliminations.
Most eliminations will either go to Baron Corbin or Braun Strowman.
Yep.
And I am picking Braun Strowman to win the Royal Rumble.
Woo! All right. Wow. That is a bold claim right there. I mean, I know he's been like among the favorites so far in the early betting, but then again, the early betting is the early betting. So, nothing really matters until we get that smart money that comes in. Boy, whew, that's tough. Number 1 going in to the Royal Rumble. Who do I think is going to be the #1 entry into the Royal Rumble? Well, I feel like they gotta have a face heel dynamic going. I think, you know what I think they're gonna do? I think Randy Orton will be either #1 or 2. I will say that. He'll be in the first 2. I don't know who's going to come out opposite him. I'm calling Randy Orton to come out very early in the match. What was next? 30? I'm going to do 30 at the end. Iron Man. I agree with you. I was going to say Sammy. As soon as you said Iron Man, I was like, yep, it's gone. I'm thinking Sammy. That's a really good beat for his character to be the guy that lasts the longest. You know, like that's resiliency and fight until the end. You know, Sami Zayn. I think they've done quite a good job actually of getting his character across. I think low key he's been like maybe the best performer on Raw over the last 3-4 months, 2-3 months, I guess. So yeah, Iron Man, Sami Zayn. Most eliminations, I agree with you on Braun Strowman. I think that's a good thing to give him. I think they'll probably have like a bit where like Corbin and Strowman are in the Rumble together and they just like they both knock out like a whole bunch of dudes, and like you give each of those guys like 6-7 eliminations, and so like I don't think Strowman's gonna have like 12 or 13, but he'll probably have like 8, I think, and I think that'll be like the most eliminations. That's what I'm going with. And in terms of number 30 and my winner of the 2017 Royal Rumble to set up a match at WrestleMania. Does it have to be the main event? Is that a rule?
They keep saying it's going to be the main event.
But there's been instances before where it's not the main event, right?
They don't say it. When it's not been the main event,
they don't mention it.
Or they'll do the cop-out and be like, they'll call that match the main event, but they're going first like Edge versus Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
But they'll get cute and they'll just be like, for a championship opportunity.
Yep. Yeah.
At WrestleMania. They have done that some years.
Possible.
They say main event. So I'm just assuming.
I think we are going to see the return of Finn Balor at number 30 to win the Royal Rumble, to go on to Mania to face Kevin Owens. Oh, fuck, but he's facing Chris Jericho, isn't he? I don't know what's going on. Shit. WWE's got me all twisted around. I tell you, I give credit to them. I still think it's going to be Finn, though. Yeah. But maybe he'll be going against some other champion. Maybe it'll be like Finn Roman. But I was thinking it's going to be Roman Taker. That's where I've been going lately. So I don't know. I think it's a credit to WWE that so many things are up in the air. I will say that it is legitimately a credit to them. But I do think Finn is going to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know who he's facing at Mania, but I do think he's going to win and probably enter at 30.
Okay. Well, who do you think is going to get eliminated the quickest, though?
Oh, the quickest. Is Titus actually going to be in the match? Like, he keeps trying for spots and not winning, though, right?
They're going to throw some.
They're going to throw some folk in there. They already have like 22 people announced or some shit, right? Like, there's not that many. And Samoa Joe's going to be presumably in the Rumble. We might get like Ty Dillinger in the Rumble. So there's,
Oh, God.
I know, right? I know, but I think it's too perfect not to do it, honestly.
I don't like. I seriously.
I know. I'm not a fan of Dillinger either. Like, I'm really not. But I don't know. Like, if an act is over, it helps the whole show. So That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's not my thing, maybe, as a baby face. I like it as a heel gimmick, as like a delusional heel gimmick, but like now it's just kind of like an underdog babyface gimmick, and that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, like when you think about it. But yeah, so there'll be some, some NXT guys, some probably like one or two random returning folk, who knows. We got the part-timers.
Like, just to get off on like a little bit of a Ty rant. Like, I don't mind him. He's all right, but like, if you call yourself the perfect 10, you should be way better.
Right? You shouldn't be in developmental at 35 years old. Okay, this is going to be a shot. If you call yourself the perfect 10, it shouldn't be referring to your 10 years in developmental.
I swear. But like, he come in at number 10, then I'll give him the quickest elimination. He gonna come in there with the 10, 10, 10, and somebody gonna 10 his ass right on out the ring.
Yeah, that might be.
So you're saying Finn's gonna make his return?
I'm saying Finn's gonna make his return. I think it's too. I think it's too perfect.
See, this is why I say Kevin Owens is going to lose, because it has been with him and Jericho too goddamn perfect.
Yeah, to not have a match. Yeah,
to not have them face each other at WrestleMania. It is, and then Jericho just got this belt over there for no reason whatsoever. Like.
Yeah, so Kevin Owens could be a triple crown champion.
The first time, like the first night of the brand split, and Braun Strowman came out and he had his hair cut on the side and he had the new music and all that. The first thing, like, y'all may have not seen it because it wasn't noticeable, but I saw right on his back, it said, "Please feed to Roman Reigns." That's exactly what I saw on his back. And my timeline is coming together magically for them to face each other at WrestleMania for the big red belt. So I think Roman is going to main event 3 times in a row. I do, because that was a rumor a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that might be your main event.
Boy.
And yeah, so Braun's gonna make a lot of fucking money real soon. A lot of it.
That might be a step too far for a lot of people.
It's gonna be a step too far for a lot of people. No, Braun's not gonna win. People gonna be so pissed off. They're gonna be so mad. They're gonna be so mad.
Shit.
But neglecting the fact that this is what Vince McMahon does to each and every single giant short of Andre that he's ever had. And then he eventually did it to Andre the Giant with Hulk Hogan. Giants are meant to be slayed, people. Now, you may not like who he's sending to slay him, but like, Braun is champion. It's just gonna be a Brock situation, but Brock shows up every week. And some people might dig that, but like, how many people, like, I actually seen Goldberg's title run. Having a champion that everybody knows is going to win is not that exciting. It's really not. Not. Like, everybody knows for sure. Like with Cena, sometimes there is doubt because he does lose. But with Goldberg, like, for sure, it got so fucking boring because he never lost. So it's a lot of people just dangling out there. That's the thing about trying to figure out WrestleMania matches, is you'll have a match and then you'll be like, but what about so-and-so just hanging out over here? Like, and you know they got to have the Undertaker have a match. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah, that's honestly like part of the reason why I'm another part of the reason why I'm so annoyed about like these 3 part-time guys getting all the shine like on the go home, because like there are so many like interesting stories you can tell with full-timers and like really cool things you could do with them, you know, to get them over in like a big way. And I'm worried that it's just going to be like, you know, there's going to be a moment where it's like all 3 of those guys in the ring and they're just going to like clear out all the fucking full-time geeks and be like, all right, now it's the only people that matter time to win the Rumble. And I'm like, and what worries me the most is that the crowd will probably be popping huge for it, like big marks, you know, because marks are marks. Like, it's not criticism. Like, it's just the truth. So I am distinctly worried about that. I'm just like, because I maybe wrongly, but right now I've got a lot of like enthusiasm and hope for what this Mania could turn out to be, and I'm just about already 75% certain I'm disappointing myself. Like I'm working myself into a shoot, which is not by any means a new thing. But I just want it to be. I want it to be what it's not going to be. I know that is the case with me in WWE. So it's a weird fandom to, you know, it's a weird sort of fan to be, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like that. But like there were so many people that were out, that were injured last year. I feel like if it did 32, hey, that's enough for me. Honestly, I didn't like the card going into the show. People like it had potential. I was like, a couple of matches did.
Yeah, like 3 of the 15 matches.
Like who the hell was like? Fuck you off. You told me you were excited for Roman Reigns. I really go. We need to have a lie detector test. I believe you. I don't. Who didn't know that match was gonna be exactly what it was?
Exactly.
You know. New Day getting punked out by the old dudes. That wasn't cute.
That pissed me off so much.
Like I get it. It's Austin. He stuns everybody, but he didn't like. You know what the best use of old timers at a WrestleMania really ever truly was that I seen? WrestleMania 30 when The Rock, Stone Cold, and Steve Austin started the show. You want to know why? Because I could skip. Every time I watch WrestleMania 30, skip right past it. Smooth past it. Best use ever. I don't have to watch a second of this.
Now that you say that, what is The Rock gonna do?
He just gonna come out there and masturbate in Orlando. We finally. Then 5 minutes later, The Rock has This is you bring up The Rock, so I got to talk about because I listened to Roman's interview 3 times. I have to talk about the interview because I feel like this is like when people say turn him heel and they just want him to be a badass and kill everybody. No. Have this dude who was in this podcast be his character. This just fucking cocky, overconfident, born into fucking wrestling. I know I'm the shit. Mr. I can have a 5-star match with anybody. I was like, what? He was talking mad shit on the low. And one thing, when he was talking about Bret Hart, how much he loved Bret, but he never got to be the kid to get the glasses from him. But he was like, but fortunately, my cousin was Yokozuna. The only time, real talk, that Roman talks about The Rock being his cousin or being his family or anything about him is when people ask him about The Rock.
Yeah.
He never, like, The Rock wasn't fucking with, they weren't close. Like, The Rock's really not their cousin. their grandfather and his grandfather were really, really close. So they all call themselves family. But The Rock is not any kin to that family. And he probably acts like it. Because every time, like, they be like, oh, who do you want to face? Wouldn't you love to face The Rock? One time somebody asked him, would he love to face The Rock? He's like, yeah, that's all cool and all. But I really wanted to face Umaga in the ring. Like, because this is family. So I thought that was cute. WWE never tried to make them, because you could just tell, like, when they had The Rock come out at the Royal Rumble, how forced it was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, The Rock didn't want to be there. Roman didn't want The Rock there. Like, I win the Royal Rumble and I got this motherfucker. And then what he said about being booed. Now, this is the only thing I didn't like, because I don't like people who like mixed reactions. Be a heel or a face. Like, I get at this point, if he didn't like the boos, it's like, oh well, you're gonna have to deal with them anyway. You might as well learn to love it. But he did make the point of, like, it's loud when he's in there, and he'll see people actually competing with other sections of the crowd to be louder to boo or cheer. Now, I guess, but, like, I don't know. No. Just stick to one. And because I didn't agree when he said when he turned heel, he's just gonna get booed. No, you're not. It's a lot of assholes that like to be contrary. You're still gonna be getting cheered. So, well, see, that kind of does make his argument, because if he turns heel, he'll still be getting booed and cheered. So what's the difference? Just make his character better.
Yeah.
Just let him be himself.
You know what's interesting when you were describing, like, what you wanted his character to be just now was, arrogant ass, kicking, born into wrestling, just big merch sort of guy. It's interesting that there's already somebody on the roster playing that gimmick.
Yeah. Roman plays it better in real
life. A lot
life.
better. That's the problem. Like, that's a
He
perfect.
Plays it 10 times
that's
better.
a perfect gimmick for Roman.
But it seemed like Corbin acting like that's his, like, Corbin seems like a guy who's acting like he thinks he's the shit.
Okay.
Roman just.
I wasn't talking about Baron Corbin.
Who you talking about then?
Someone born into wrestling.
Oh, you talking about Charlotte?
Who thinks they're better than everybody. Who's just beating the hell out of folk.
Well, but
that's literally Charlotte's gimmick. It's so unfortunate, because her gimmick should be like an insecure, sniveling, cheating motherfucker, just like her father. Like, not also rejecting her father, being like, I'm better than him, but also, like, resorting to the shit he did because she wants to prove that she's better than him. But she's so desperate to do it that she ends up, like, emulating him. Like, that's a perfect character for Charlotte, and she could nail that. But, like, her current character, it's Roman. Like, that's what Roman should be. It's not what she should be. So, I don't know. When you were describing that, I was like, that is fucking Charlotte.
Oh, wow. You are so... Oh, because she was like, I could be winning somewhere, winning other type of chant.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I could be winning. I got in the industry because of one phone call. I'm proud of that. She straight out said, I'm privileged. She flat out said that.
And you know what? That is true, because Roman, before he went to play college ball, Jim Ross was calling him. And then he was like, nah. And then after, all he did was make one phone call. They were like, well, yeah, come on, try it.
Yeah.
Oh, you are so right. You are so right. I encourage people If you're iffy about Roman, just listen to his shoe interviews. You will either love him or hate him after that.
Mm-hmm.
But just still go to the show and buy merch.
Buy big merch. Mm.
Yes. My God, I need to like go back and watch. See, I watched every Royal Rumble from 1992 to last year.
Holy
Over the
shit.
past, yeah. And I didn't watch the first 4. I think first 3 or 4. I need to go back and watch those. But like,
I imagine those are terrible.
yeah, that's why I started in 92.
92, yeah.
There are certain ways that they book Rumble matches. This is what I wanted to talk about before we get up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched so many of them, and you can kind of tell when they are booking. Like if the ring constantly fills up with people, those are usually the Rumbles that are boring. And those are usually Rumbles where they're mostly highlighting they're highlighting the least people as possible, and they're filling that ring up so that this one person can eliminate all these people. And there have been exceptions to this. When Kane in 2001, that was a fun Royal Rumble. I thought the 2014 Royal Rumble was fun. I did. There was one where Hornswoggle and John Cena eliminated a lot of people. I forgot what year that was. I thought that Rumble was booty. The Royal Rumble where CM Punk started, I think he started. I don't know if it was 2 Royal Rumbles back to back where he was like in the first beginning, he was running shit. When he was in the Straight Edge Society, like he owned that Royal Rumble. I encourage people to go back and watch the 2014 Royal Rumble because, like, and CM Punk confessed that he had a concussion. If you go back and watch, there are a lot of things that are happening. Like when Kofi is ready to do his stunts, CM Punk is the person who, like, first of all, in order to get it to happen, they had to get Rusev eliminated.
Yeah.
So CM Punk, you can kind of see him brawling, but he's not really brawling with dudes. He's pulling them over, like, telling them, come on, it's time for this spot. Like, he had a concussion, but the motherfucker pretty much ran the whole goddamn match. Like, it was masterful to see. So, like, I encourage people this weekend to go back and watch some old Rumbles, especially your favorites, and pay attention to certain people. Because there's usually a lot of stuff going on, but you can tell kind of like most of the Rumbles that Punk was in, they were good. And that's because he has a fundamental understanding that something needs to be going on at all times.
Yeah.
And people need to be here. People need to be doing this. Okay, if somebody else is going to come and do this, where do we need to be positioned? And, like, yeah, that sumbitch needs to get back into wrestling. Because, like, if you watch the 2015 Rumble, it seems like 2 different people. The front half of the match was booked by a completely different set of people than the back. It seems like 2 completely different matches. Before Daniel Bryan gets eliminated and after.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with how the crowd switched on the match. It has everything to do with what happens in it. It's really eye-opening. You can learn a lot about how, like, guys work in the ring watching, like, big multi-man matches like that. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
You have, like, any... Yeah, go ahead.
I think I actually did go back and watch the 2014 Royal Rumble like last weekend or something, because you had mentioned that it was Punk's last appearance, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. So I went back and watched that, and I agree. I thought that was a pretty good Rumble. I was definitely sports entertained, even though I didn't understand probably a couple of the stories that were going on in it. So I enjoyed that. 2015 was the dumpster fire, as you said, but 2016, it gets, for some reason, I mean, not for some reason. Triple H won the fucking Royal Rumble 2016. There's a pretty good reason why people didn't like it. But the booking of it, I thought, was sensational. And the person, like, who was pulling that CM Punk kind of role, who, like, literally was calling the entire Rumble from the ring, was Chris Jericho. Which is why he was the Iron Man. He was in there for like 52 minutes. Yep. And all he did was sit in corners. And then like somebody would come kick him 3 times and he'd tell them what to do and then they'd go do it. Like if somebody goes back and watches the 2016 Royal Rumble, just watch Jericho and be like, he's literally directing this entire show. And it's kind of fascinating to see. So they need somebody to do that like this year. And I don't
think that he has somebody to do that in 2015.
I don't.
Probably why.
Yeah, exactly. In 2015, I don't think there was somebody to do it. Like Bryan could have done it, but they wanted to get him out of the match, you know?
Right.
So I don't know.
That'll be interesting to watch. That's another reason why I said Sami Zayn, because Triple H knows him and he kind of like he told him with Nakamura, I'll just go out there and have a match.
Yeah.
So, like, that's another reason why I chose Sami Zayn to be the Iron Man, because he can kind of be that guy to make sure everybody's in their spots and this goes on, you know, all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think low-key Sami, Finn is probably Tripp's favorite son, saying son specifically. But Sami's pretty high up there, too. Like, I think Sami actually has a really bright future. I really do.
Yeah, he's gonna be working for the company when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Zayn, he's gonna be one of them working for that company, boy. I'm fully like his character, like I was always kind of like when he went against Kevin Owens, I was as a parent, like when he said that stuff about what are you teaching your child, and I'm like, hold on now. You have absolutely no idea the sacrifices a parent has to make, and if he got to break your neck to feed his child, I'm like, yeah, I'm all for that. He got to take care of his kid. He got to put food on that table. So I wasn't on Sami Zayn, but like as far as like somebody to market and push and like surprisingly sneakily on the low, he's pretty good drawing at house shows. Mm-hmm. So like his ratings might not be all there, and that might change after this stuff with Braun. But like, yeah, I'm completely behind Sami Zayn. Push him, let him get his little baby face moment. I hope it happens soon, or at least this year he starts building more momentum and he stays in an event and they don't just like, okay, we used you for what we needed you for, so we're just going to push you back down the card. Yeah. I'm really hoping he has a really good Rumble. That out of like everybody.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Like, I'm not really worried. I'm not like worried about Corbin or Braun. I kind of see that they have plans for them, but I really hope he has a good Rumble.
I hope Sami Zayn eliminates Brock Lesnar. It's not going to happen.
God.
I know it's not going to happen.
God.
Man, I want that so bad now. This is what's great about the Rumble is like the lead-in. Like you're like, all these crazy things can happen. So they don't have to deliver all of them. Just give us some stuff, you know? Just give us some stuff to pop for.
Like, Andrew, when you said that, you know what?
Right?
As soon as you said it, all I imagined was the look on Brock Lesnar's face.
Right?
Realizing that fucking Sami Zayn eliminated. He might die. He might get killed.
Right?
Oh, I would love that. Yeah. Yeah, that is the excitement about the Rumble. And also possibilities of we made a joke in the Daily that the reason why Sasha and Nia pre-show is because they're getting their match out early because both of them are their spots. Like,
their spots.
I know Sasha is teeny tiny, and they would have to be really careful with how they eliminated her. But just imagine if they count. You hear the countdown clock, and then they hear dun, 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 dun. The crowd would lose their shit. Sasha Banks and the crowd would lose their shit. Like, are you telling me? No, it's not possible. Or even Nia. That would, like, even if it's not Sasha and they play her music and she comes out and, like, eliminates somebody, like a cruiserweight snuck in there or something.
Fucking Drew Gulak. That's who she'll eliminate. Drew Gulak somehow gets in the Royal Rumble just to be eliminated by Nia Jax.
Yeah, I would smile. And they don't really have to be that careful with eliminating her because she's really good. You just flip her over the rope. She'll land on her feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they could do something like if Nia was in, they could have like Sasha come flying in out of the crowd sort of gimmick in like in her badass ass kicker Sasha Banks gear, taped up fists or some shit, you know, and like someone like tries to stop her, some dude tries to stop her, and like she ends up eliminated like some lower card guy, and she like throws his ass out of the ring. And then, like, her and Nia, like, brawl, and, like, they both, you know, fall over the top rope. So Nia's eliminated, but Sasha was never in the match. Or, I don't know. Or maybe they'll do, like, Nia comes out, and then Sasha comes out next, and then they do that sort of thing. But, man, that would be so awesome. That would be so cool. That or, like, that makes sense to me because I can see how you get them out of the match as well. But, like, some people are like, what if they put Asuka in the match and she just beats some folk up? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome. But then how do you get her out? Like, that doesn't make sense to me at that point.
What you're going to have to do is have a heel as soft as he possibly can, clothesline her when she least expected.
Yeah.
Or no, just take her and dump her out.
But is that a good look though?
It's a soft bump.
I'm not saying about the bump at that point. I'm saying like
if it's a big enough guy, yeah.
If it's Braun Strowman. Oh my god. Now I want us to eliminate Braun Strowman. All I want is to see women eliminate men in this Royal Rumble. Apparently that's what I'm popping for. And Sami Zayn lasting long. That's all. Fucking give me that shit. I don't care what. Triple H can win the damn thing starting from number 1 if you give me that stuff. I don't care.
Ooh, Lord, Triple H. He don't need to be. People like, Triple H should be in the Rumble. I'm like,
no fucking way should he be in the Rumble.
No, he shouldn't. You know, and you know who shouldn't? No old dude that's on a Legends contract should be in the Rumble. They got enough people on all 3 brands, and that includes NXT, that they do not have to go get Kevin Nash to be in the Rumble this year.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do any announcer gimmick. Like, none of that shit.
No.
Although I would
I would pop for Corey Graves.
Well, he's not cleared to take bumps. So
I know.
That would be tight. I was just saying I would pop for David Otunga if he got called in there.
Ooh,
and then they broke the record. What if they broke the record with David Otunga? Like, that would pop me big.
And you know who I would want to do it? I would want The Miz to do it. Because David Otunga talks so much shit about The Miz. So, yes, I would love it if David Otunga took his swole ass out there and got dumped immediately by The Miz. By The Miz. Tell him to go home to his wife. Go home to your wife.
Oh, man.
Oh, but yeah, it's a lot more fun going into this Rumble in the past. Well, some people say 3 years because a lot of people didn't want, as my kids call them, they didn't want Bautista to win. That's legit what my kids call Bautista. Because they only saw that. They don't know about old era. Like, I was watching a pay-per-view like 2006 or something, and my son, he was like, is that Bautista? I was like, yeah. But yeah, I think it's a better feeling for fans going in not knowing.
Yeah.
They might legit. WWE legit might not know.
There might be some real, like, I would laugh so hard if I, like, still kept looking at the odds throughout the show, and there was, like, what time would it be at like 9:55, all of a sudden there's a massive switch in the odds. I would, like, die laughing if that happened. Although I don't think you could do that, so never mind. Ignore that, what I just said, everybody. Oh, well.
All right, we're going to get on out of here. And
yeah, let's get the hell out.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, the road to WrestleMania will be a little clearer for certain people. Some people it's not going to happen until like early March. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That's what the match is. All right. It's been fun, everybody. Thanks for listening to us. And we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Bye-bye.